Tennessee falls at home to the number one team in the country, the Georgia Bulldogs, 38-10 with Josh Ward from Josh and Swain. I'm Vince Ferrara. What a start for Tennessee. First play from scrimmage for the second time this year. Tennessee gets a big, long run, touchdown run from Jalen Wright. And suddenly this place had some juice, decibel levels, like record levels here at Neyland Stadium. And you thought, okay, who saw this coming? And then it was all Georgia after that. What do you make of this one, Josh?
Well, I guess Georgia has kind of made it a trend of giving up an opening drive touchdown. Mm-hmm. They've been doing it this season.
Yep. And
then they beat up on their opponent from there.
Right.
And they did that to Tennessee today. It was not a ball game after that. So you have a 7-0 lead. That means it's 38-3 from there. And Tennessee made a few plays, but Georgia controlled the entire game after Jalen Wright's touchdown. And Georgia it's the number one team in the country, maybe the best team in the country again. It's been the best program in the country for the last 3 years. The game was really a reminder of the gap that still exists. And Tennessee had a tremendous 2022 season. The program, I think, is in good shape. But the program needs a lot of work, like most do, if they want to be where Georgia is. And this was a reminder of where the best team is and how far Tennessee has to go.
Yeah, and guys were asked in the post game, hey, how does Georgia team compare to others? And I think Aaron Beasley said it right. Well, maybe they're not quite as talented as other Georgia teams, but they play together, they play smart, and they play fundamentally sound. And this was their first fumble of the season lost all year. They don't commit penalties. They generally don't turn the ball over. They just help they tackle well, which is something that Tennessee is still struggling at. They have the total package. They have the 5 stars, and they play sound.
Yeah, they're well coached, and I know it's easy to look at a team that has a ton of talent and want to take away from the coaching staff. The coaching staff has done a great job. Part of it is making sure your team stays focused when they know they're that much more talented than the opponent, and it makes them the total package. I don't know if they'll win the national title, but they're going to have a shot to play for it. They'll play Alabama for the SEC title, and if they win that, they're going back again for a three-peat opportunity. For Tennessee, they just the offensive line didn't really have a chance to match up with Georgia's defensive line. Even if Tennessee were at 100% on the offensive line, they were without the 2 starting tackles, then they would have been at a disadvantage. The defense isn't at the level that it was earlier in the year. And part of that today was probably because of Georgia, but the last 3 SEC games, Kentucky, Missouri, and now Georgia, the defense has had problems. Third down defense is awful, and Georgia was able to take advantage of it.
Georgia was 9 of 13 on third down offensively. I mean, if you can't get off the field at that kind of alarming rate, you're just not going to win. And then Tennessee couldn't sustain drives on offense on third down. So, in the post game, Josh Heupel said it was disappointing, which is kind of what he said a bunch after the Missouri game. Still thinks the team is fighting. I know some may debate on the effort that they might be giving right now. They're clearly outmanned.
Right.
And, and then Joe Milton talked about execution, which is something that he has done regularly. And so it's tough. It's a whole lot of things. It's not just one thing.
Right. We're still talking about some of the same things we talked about early in the season when we wondered, okay, could these be issues? Receivers have to help Joe. Joe has to make more plays. Not sure what he's seeing at different times. But the result is very disappointing, and you could hear it in Josh Heupel's voice. His words described it. In back-to-back weeks, they don't score in the second half. 3 times this season, Tennessee has been shut out in the second half. It happened at Alabama as well, and only 2 touchdowns combined in the last 2 weeks. A year ago, Tennessee had the best scoring offense in the country. So it's been a dramatic drop-off, and that can't happen because of one reason. Quarterback is a part of it. From Hendon Hooker to Joe Milton, there is a tremendous drop-off. There have been drop-offs at other positions. Jalen Hyatt to other receivers in this offense, losing Brew McCoy. These aren't excuses for Tennessee. I mean, if they had a few of these guys we're talking about, they still lose to Georgia today. Right. But it doesn't help when they have these deficiencies.
Yeah, and obviously we're going to get a lot of comments on this video and on our shows. Hey, where's Nico? Why can't we just go to Nico? Because fans have wanted them to go to Nico prior to this. He's had 3 games played right now. Sadly, none of those are very long stints of experience for him. But Josh Heupel was asked about why They considered Nico. Is it because he's only played 3 games? You don't want to get to that threshold of 4 for redshirt. Is that a good enough reason for Tennessee to not get Nico experience? Because if he's a talented player, maybe he's not going to stick around for all of his years of eligibility.
Well, it is a different message from August. August, the message was not worried about a red shirt. So something has changed. Maybe it's just that they're at this point in the season and might as well take it and get it. So he can still play in the Vanderbilt game and red shirt. And I think there's a good chance we could see him next week with the way that game is set up. But I think there are going to be multiple reasons to want to see Nico. If you want to see Nico because you think his offense needs something different, he has a ton of talent. Let's see what he can do. I get it. If you just want to see him because you're excited about what he might be able to do and you want to see him on the field, like the UConn game only getting a couple of series, fans being disappointed by that, totally get it.
Right.
I don't think getting a series or 2 against Georgia helps him for next year. So if it's about getting experience for 2024 and beyond, I don't think he's going to be a better quarterback than that. Potentially worse, maybe. Like if he's playing in this kind of game, it's not setting him up for success. Realistically, so but like a lot of it is just fan frustration.
Right.
And if you're watching this kind of product, then Tennessee's lost 4 games, 8-4. If they win next week, it's pretty good. And the 4 losses, they've all been ugly. They've all been at least the Alabama second half was ugly. The first half was good, but Florida, Missouri, Georgia were just brutal games for fans to sit through. So that leads to frustration, which leads to I want to see something different, and that's totally understandable.
And Tennessee has no answers for runs in all those games. It's just gotten completely away from it, and it goes downhill. So very difficult. Josh, I think now you have to think about the Vanderbilt game in just how much of a lock that is, where fans it's just been assumed that they win that game.
I've assumed they'll win that game up to this point.
Yeah, is that changed at all? Because it has for me.
Well, I assume Tennessee will win if this team is not checked out and they do come out and say, no, we need to finish on a high note. We need to finish out strong at home, get to 8 wins, secure a solid bowl game. Because if you lose this one, you'll probably drop off in that area as well. Just be humiliated to lose to Vanderbilt. So if the players say, no, we're finishing strong, then they will win the game. But if they're hanging their heads and they're disappointed from the Georgia game and the way the last 2 weeks have gone, and they're saying, what does it matter at this point? Then you're running into a problem, if only a few players say that. So they need to lock in. They're a much better team than Vanderbilt,
yes.
But we've seen worse teams beat better teams all the time, every single week in college.
Yeah, so again, not predicting at this point, but it's something to consider. Even though for some, they're their name, we're our name, and you don't want to even think about it. But man, Tennessee, no reason why they shouldn't take care of business.
Yeah.
But, all right, so Tennessee falls to Georgia, 4th loss of the year for Tennessee, 7-4 regular season finale. Right back here, 3:30 next Saturday against the Vanderbilt Commodores, and then let's see in terms of bowl projections how much this game impacts them. For some of us that are hoping for a Florida bowl game, hopefully they can stay in position or get back in position before it's all said and done. You can hear Josh and Swain each weekday from noon until 3. They'll have plenty of discussion about this game and then what it all means moving forward. Of course, Sunday Sports Sound Off with Jimmy Himes and Tim Irwin from 8 to 10 a.m. on Sunday. And then John Wilkerson and I will have Sports Talk from 6 until 9. And then the Eric Haynes Show from 9 a.m. to noon. Then in the afternoon with Tyler and Will as well. All right, that'll do it from Neyland Stadium. Josh, appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
All right, that's Josh Ford. I'm Vince Ferrara. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out all of our content at 991thesportsnl.com. See you.